Today we're building a rear drawer system for the Lexus. I had a toolbox in the bed of the Dakota for all my tools, recovery, and emergency equipment. So now I had a pile of all that stuff sitting in the garage, and I needed somewhere to put it in this vehicle. We did have some hard drive issues, so I lost all the footage of cutting out the first few pieces, but you can see here the assembly process for the cabinet. I started out by making the cabinet, which is definitely the easiest part. The cabinet bolts to the floor using existing threads where I removed the stock cargo tie down points. There were just a few D-rings in the back there that I pulled out. Um, I assembled the entire cabinet using bolts and threaded inserts so that the whole thing could be disassembled and removed or even modified down the road once we've used it for a while. My initial design used one full width drawer in order to maximize the amount of space in the unit that where I could put all that recovery equipment, as the toolbox in the Dakota was bigger volume than we were working with for this drawer system. But I did end up changing my mind on this pretty early on.
All right, changed my mind, as I am known to do. Instead of doing the one big drawer, we're doing a divider, we're doing two smaller drawers. I lose out on a little bit of space doing this, but I wanted a support in the center for all the camp totes, just knowing like we got 4 camp totes plus coolers, and that's all going to get loaded on top of here. So I wanted to make sure this would be well supported. Don't want to mess this up. It's just the thing. I really don't want to mess this up. Because I've designed it so that this piece is also load bearing from the top, right, by being there instead of like that. But that means that, you know, there's going to be really slight clearance between the drawer and this surface, but other than that, which I'm not going to be able to like leave a little strip, so this would just be, yeah. And then with the table in there, because that goes, yeah. So yeah, I mean literally just like a big, only cutting on 3 sides. Beautiful.
Even though that is wrong, technically, to put it over the...
No, that's right.
Oh, you're putting it under? Okay.
Yeah. Push that back panel forward. Yeah. Bumpers. Okay. Okay. Camera ran out of batteries last night, but really all we did was cut the faceplate there for the drawer. Cut those out, and then finished drilling and pounding in a few more threaded inserts on a couple of these. This morning I pulled everything apart, and I'm just tapped in the threaded inserts that'll hold the center divider to the bottom. That's the bottom face. With all this out, I'm going to vacuum out all of that because I've done a fair bit of drilling in here, so it needs to be vacuumed out. other than that, I think we're about to the point where we're going to put the box together and it's quote-unquote final assembly. It's not technically final because I'll still have to take it apart at some point and spray seal it and then put some carpet over most of the, you know, at least the surfaces that we see and touch on a regular basis, but feeling pretty good about it. Okay, so ran into a little problem. Realized that I wouldn't be able to have the drawer slides be able to slide out if I had the full 1.5 inch width here and the full inch width there. So instead of that, we cut the little bottom pieces off this trim faceplate, and it's just there to cover those corners and give us a somewhat uniform looking piece across the bottom here. That's all they're doing. This edge, this edge, this edge, this top edge, and maybe this bottom edge will all get aluminum like U channel here. I got a piece. This stuff, right? So it'll just kind of go on. There. So that goes on like that, right? And then the drawers will just be pretty much this entire opening, and they'll just close. The face of the drawer will close against this, like this face. So it should sit on top of that, not against that, but on top. That's the hope, at least. All right, let's see how accurate my cardboard cutout was. Pretty close. Okay. So I need to trim it down just a hair so it'll sit flat. Oh, so close. Dropped it. Oh yeah. Nice. That fits pretty good.
Is that gonna scrape as it hinges up?
Hold that in for me. It's a little bit awkward flinging it around myself. Okay, hinge. And it's gonna sit probably about there, like right on the corner.
Okay.
Hinge? I don't think so. I think we're good. Cool. All right, so we got one wing on, wing cubby cover, whatever. Definitely going to use that as storage. Might be able to find something that fits in there, but having that little folding cover will be nice. Then I have a nice uniform cargo deck, and then these guys will go like that, go in there. About like that. I'll have, it'll look a lot cleaner than just the box sitting in there. Nice. All right. That's where we're gonna wrap it for the day, I think. We got big cubbies that I can throw some stuff in, so those will be really nice. Both sides. I got my filler pieces made for that. Just need to pick up some brackets tomorrow after work to drill them into, I think they're going to drill into the side piece here. Trying to put all these extra pieces on in a manner that still allows me to disassemble this. So like this front trim piece is only bolted to, or only screwed into the this middle level, not the side, not the top. So, you know, things like that, things like those side pieces are going to go on there only, not going to get screwed onto like the bottom or this or anything. So should be able to still take it apart and get it out of the car pretty easily. Okay, to get the bottom panel started, what I did was I kind of opened my cabinet here a little bit and I wedged the side in there so it wasn't going to move too much. Stood the bottom panel up against it, clamped them in place, sunk my first screw, then we'll flip it over, kind of do the same thing with the screw at that end, and then do the other side, and then I should be able to put a little more pressure on it from this side, screwing the rest of those in. Okay. Yeah. All right, same thing with the other side piece. So, interval here. That one, oh, I see what it is. Okay, so we're gonna skip this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we got 2 screws. We'll go roughly between them, right on my Sharpie line. Yeah. Same thing right here. Same thing down here. All right, that is one drawer pretty much done. I'm gonna kind of hold here for a moment. I'm not gonna install the front panel yet because the way I want the front panels to nest into this opening, fitment's gonna be like probably the most critical in terms of like measuring closely and accurately. So I think those are going to go on once the drawers are bolted to the slides and in. But this is pretty dang close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try stuffing it in that hole. And then if that works, I'll assemble the second one. All right, losing a 1/2 inch off the top of this thing. I measured so many times, I don't know why. Nice. All right. So the piece of wood that I used on the back had a bunch of knots, which means that it just chipped out a whole bunch of wood. But it's the back, nobody's ever gonna see it, so I kinda don't care. Let's try this again. That's better. Alright, butt that up. Oh yeah, lots of little vertical play too. Huh. I miscalculated there. Okay, it fits. Not a big deal, but the way I had done the plan for this. Right, the way I had planned this out, the front piece was supposed to kind of sit flush like that. So this is sticking out a little over a 1/2 inch too far, and I'm not sure where I mismeasured. I'm debating right now in my head if I bother fixing it or just let it ride, because you know, this is as far as the table goes. The door will still close, so that won't be an issue. But this would look better. So I don't know. Okay, so little update on the drawer. I got it all pulled out of the truck. I got it partially disassembled. I've reinstalled these slides on the inside. I went away from using the regular nuts and bolts I was using, and I switched to using these guys, right? So I'm using these, so it's like a little, let's see if I can get it to focus. It's a little threaded sleeve, one half, and the other half is just a regular machine screw. So that doing it that way, both ends of them fit in the track under the drawer slide, so I can open and close them, and that let me put both sides at the same height. And that's on, so I figured I'd show you this side real quick. And the only other thing I'm doing outside of, you know, just using these how they came is I'm throwing a washer on the outside so that the head of the bolt doesn't try to pull through the wood, as you know, will kind of happen with the wood being a little soft. So we're gonna just add the washer. So what we've done here, right? We know the front face of the drawers is gonna butt up against this face, right? So it's gonna sit over, not against that edge, but against this edge. So we wanted to set the ends of the drawers back so that will allow that to happen, with the exception of these guys. So these are locking slides. So I'll need to cut a little slot in the face of the drawer so that I can pull that, and then that comes out, and it locks open, and I think it locks, let's see, yeah, so it locks fully extended and they lock closed. And in addition to that, the only other thing we've been doing today, we've got the drawers, all the different pieces, and we have clear coated most everything. We used just this stuff. We had it around the house, so it was quote unquote free because we bought it I don't even know how long ago, and I didn't want to go out and buy something different because this project has run up the price pretty quickly. We are mostly clear coated. I think there's maybe a few things that still need done, and I'll need to fully disassemble this guy as well because I also need to paint these brackets. They are steel and I don't want them to rust. So we're gonna disassemble it all, paint all those brackets, and go from there. We're approaching our travel deadlines pretty quickly here, so I've been working and not recording on this for a little bit. I'm gonna give a little update here. I don't think I've done anything like really hard to follow or anything like that. Let's start with this. So as you guys probably, as we did record, we threw carpet over the top of our top panel here, ran the handles through it, and we made sure that we cut the split so that this can hinge unimpeded. When it's assembled and in the truck, we may decide to carpet the backside of this. I had initially wanted to, but after kind of calculating how far one Home Depot outdoor rug would get me, I decided we'd hold off for the time being. So right now this panel is the top, and it's carpeted on the top. We left it like that on the bottom. but given that the table slides in under this piece, we might carpet the bottom here as well. We'll kind of wait and see on that one. Again, depends on how much carpet we have left, because this project kind of did get a little expensive, and I don't want to buy another Home Depot carpet. And then our, let's say, middle level, threw some carpet over the top. Once this is fully assembled, you're really never going to see these little side voids. So I only took the carpet over the, what should we call this? The little locator strips for the table to keep it from catching on all my brackets. The only other thing I did, and we are not carpeting the bottom of this one because that's just above the drawers. I'm not too worried about that. The only other change I did make to this one is on the front face here. This was all one piece. I cut off the middle strip of the plywood and I replaced it with just one of these like aluminum trim pieces. That was just because the carpet added enough height to the like the front of the drawers that strip of plywood was too tall now, and I decided this would be easier and probably look cleaner. So that's changed. We are still going to carpet these, and I'm probably going to trim a little off the bottom of these squares, but that is kind of all that's getting carpeted on that. And I think this will be easier for these. So I have gotten, I've got the drawers assembled. They are mounted. What I ended up doing, there we go. So what I ended up doing for the drawers, inside here I added another big strip of wood across the top to give the, basically to give more structure for when I'm pulling on the handle to get these out. And then we wrapped the front face of the drawers with carpet. I did not do the back because my intention was to just drop in carpet into the drawers and go over all these like reinforcing strips. So I wanted to do that as a big drop in for the inside, but I got the outsides wrapped. And I ended up with enough overhang off the edge of the drawer face that it's a little hard to see, but here. I was able to, instead of cutting out like a big notch, I was able to just make a hole for the locking drawer slide to go through. And then all I've done with the carpet is cut a slit down the middle and then cut a little on the sides so that I have these nice flaps, and just fold them over and it looks just fine. I didn't want to try to get like glue or a staple or anything in there. I think that's gonna work just fine for my purposes. So that's about where we're at. I screwed on my aluminum trim on the bottom here, so this should have a nice like gray and aluminum look when it's all done. I don't think there's too much else to go over. I didn't record any of it, but getting the drawer slides in was a bit of a headache. In doing some research, I have found that the correct way to do this is actually build the box and then mount your slides to the box. And then once the slides are mounted, you cut your drawer pieces, you know, your width and your depth. You cut those to exact length with the drawer slides already in. I kind of went the opposite and made my drawers before I mounted the slides. So I've had to, they're not a perfect fit. There's some spots where, like in the travel, there's some spots where the slides stick a little. But I have full range of motion. This is gonna work. But yeah, if I were to do it again, I'd do it the correct way. So now that we have the drawers quote unquote done, I think the next step is going to be disassemble everything so I can paint all these brackets and carpet the inside of the drawers let's hope I have enough left. And once those brackets are dry, then it's final reassembly, final install, and I can finally be done with this stupid project. Drop that back on now. Okay.
We are not.
No.
Yep.
This
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Shall we pack it?
Yeah, let's load it up. All right, so it's in. The only thing we kind of still have left to do is put in these little fillers, which we may do. We may be lazy and decide not to. But yeah, we got kind of tools and some cargo securing type stuff in this drawer, and they're not the smoothest. And in this one I got all my recovery stuff, so tow straps and shackles and jumper cables, winch controller, some ratchet straps, tire repair, and space for some more in both drawers, which is awesome. I was a little worried that would be, too little space. And then I got my pull out, lunch on the trail, make a sandwich, and then pulls out into an entire folding table for camp. So I'm pretty stoked about this. I think it's going to work pretty well for us. And then we threw up a couple things on the molly panels. So starting to look like I'm actually making progress on this thing.